refusing to help my dad's pregnant girlfriend. It's hard to believe that just a little over a year ago, my life was so different. My mom was alive, my dad and I got along, and our home felt like a safe, familiar place. Now, at 16, I feel like I'm living in someone else's house, in someone else's story, a story I never asked for and never wanted. Sometimes I wonder if I'm the only one who feels this way, or if there are other people out there who've watched their whole world change overnight and been expected to just smile and accept it. 14 months ago, my mom died. I still remember the day with a clarity that makes my heart ache. It was a cold, gray morning, and I woke up to the sound of my dad crying in the kitchen. I'd never heard him cry before, not like that. It was the kind of sound that makes you want to run and hide, but also makes you want to fix everything, even when you know you can't. I went downstairs and found him sitting at the table, clutching a mug of coffee like it was the only thing keeping him tethered to the earth. He looked up at me, eyes red and swollen, and tried to smile. "We're going to be okay," he said. I wanted to believe him. The months that followed were a blur. I went to school, did my homework, tried to keep up appearances. But inside, I was falling apart. My dad was, too, but he tried to hide it. We talked about Mom a lot, her favorite songs, the way she laughed, the little things she used to do that made our house feel like home. We promised each other we'd keep her memory alive, that we'd get through this together. But grief is a strange thing. It creeps in when you least expect it, turning ordinary moments into reminders of what you've lost. I'd find myself staring at her empty chair at the dinner table, or reaching for her shampoo in the shower, or hearing her voice in my dreams. My dad and I grew closer in some ways, but there was always a distance, a sense that we were both holding back, afraid to let the other see just how broken we really were. 9 months after Mom died, my dad brought someone new into our lives. Her name was Lisa. He sat me down one evening and told me he'd met someone, that she was special, and that he wanted me to meet her. I remember feeling numb, like I was watching a movie about someone else's family. I tried to smile, tried to be polite, but inside I was screaming. How could he move on so quickly? How could he even think about dating when Mom was barely gone? The first time I met Lisa, she seemed nice enough, friendly, talkative, eager to make a good impression. But I couldn't shake the feeling that she didn't belong. She laughed too loudly, touched my dad's arm too often, acted like she'd known us forever. I tried to be civil, but I couldn't help resenting her. Every time she mentioned the future, or talked about our family, I felt like she was erasing my mom, like she was trying to rewrite our story. A few weeks later, my dad dropped another bombshell. Lisa was pregnant. They'd been seeing each other for a few months, and now she was moving in. I was stunned. I didn't know what to say, so I said the first thing that came to mind. "I guess you found a great way to show you never really loved Mom." I know it was harsh, but I couldn't help it. My dad had always talked about how people who moved on too quickly after losing a spouse didn't really love them, how it was disrespectful to start a new relationship before you'd properly grieved. He'd said it about friends and family members, about people we barely knew. Now here he was, doing the exact thing he'd always criticized. Lisa was furious. She told me I was being selfish, that I should be happy about the baby, that my mom was gone and my dad deserved a life. She said the baby didn't deserve to be treated like a mistake. I ignored her and kept talking to my dad, telling him how I felt. Lisa stormed out of the room, and my dad spent the next few days trying to make things right, apologizing for how fast everything was happening, begging me to give Lisa a chance. But I couldn't. I didn't want to live in a house where my mom's memory was being pushed aside, where I was expected to welcome a new sibling and a new mom before I'd even had a chance to heal. I told my dad I wanted to move in with my grandparents. He tried to talk me out of it, but I told him that if he wanted any kind of relationship with me, he couldn't force me to live with Lisa. So I packed my things and left. My grandparents welcomed me with open arms. Their house is quieter, smaller, but it feels safe. They let me talk about Mom as much as I want, let me cry when I need to, let me be angry without telling me to move on. My dad visits me a few times a week. He's trying, I'll give him that. He brings me my favorite snacks, asks about school, tries to act like everything is normal. But it's not. It never will be. Lisa, on the other hand, wants nothing to do with me. She's made it clear that she thinks I'm in the way, that I'm an obstacle to her perfect new family. She complains to my dad that he spends too much time trying to fix things with me, that he should be focusing on her and the baby. The last time I saw her, she told me I was disgusting for not getting over myself and being excited about the baby. She was angry that I wouldn't pick something up for her when she dropped it. I just walked away. I thought that would be the end of it. But last Tuesday, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Lisa. She said she'd locked herself out of the house, was in pain and bleeding, and needed me to come over right away because she was supposed to be resting. I still have a key to the house, and my dad was at work. But I didn't want to help her. I didn't want to be the one she called when she needed something, not after everything she'd said to me. I replied that I couldn't help, and blocked her number. Later that day, she used my dad's phone to leave me a voicemail, yelling at me for leaving her outside when she was 7 months pregnant. She called me names, said I was heartless. I ignored it. My dad told me she waited in the car until he got home. He apologized, said he understood why I was upset, but hoped we could all get along and be a family. But I don't know if that's possible. The thing about grief is that it doesn't follow a timeline. People expect you to move on, to get over it, to be happy for the people around you. But sometimes, the pain is too much. Sometimes, you just need time to breathe, to remember, to heal. I miss my mom every day. I miss her laugh, her hugs, the way she made everything better. I miss the way our house used to feel warm, safe, full of love. Now, it feels like a stranger's house, filled with reminders of what I've lost. I know my dad is hurting, too. I know he's lonely, that he wants to be happy again. But I wish he'd taken more time, that he'd thought about how his choices would affect me. I wish he'd remembered the things he used to say about love and loss, about respecting the memory of the person you've lost. Lisa doesn't understand. She thinks I'm just being difficult, that I'm jealous or selfish or stubborn. But it's not about her. It's about my mom, about the life we had, about the family we were. It's about feeling like I've been replaced, like my grief doesn't matter. I wish I could say I handled everything perfectly, that I was mature and understanding and supportive. But I'm 16. I'm still figuring things out. I'm still trying to make sense of a world that doesn't make sense anymore. Sometimes I wonder if I'm the problem. Maybe I should have tried harder to get along with Lisa, to be happy for my dad, to welcome the baby. Maybe I should have picked up the thing she dropped, or gone to help her when she was locked out. Maybe I should have been the bigger person. But then I remember all the times she made me feel small, all the times she told me to get over it, all the times she acted like my mom never existed. I remember the way my dad's face fell when I told him I was moving out, the way he tried to hide his disappointment. I remember the way my grandparents hugged me, told me it was okay to feel what I was feeling. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if I'm the bad guy for not helping Lisa, for not welcoming the baby, for not pretending everything is okay. I just know that I'm doing the best I can. Life at my grandparents' house is quieter, but it's not without its challenges. They're older, set in their ways, and sometimes I feel like I'm intruding. But they love me, and they try to understand. My grandma bakes my favorite cookies, lets me stay up late watching movies, listens when I need to talk. My grandpa gives me space, but every now and then, he'll sit next to me on the porch and tell me stories about my mom, stories I've never heard before. School is a welcome distraction. My friends don't always know what to say, but they try. Some days, I feel almost normal, laughing at lunch, stressing over homework, dreaming about the future. Other days, the grief crashes over me like a wave, and I have to fight just to keep my head above water. My dad keeps trying. He calls, texts, visits when he can. Sometimes we have good conversations, talking about memories of mom, about school, about life. Other times, it's awkward, filled with silences and things left unsaid. He wants me to come home, to be part of his new family. But I'm not ready. Maybe I never will be. Lisa is still angry. She sends the occasional message, usually through my dad, telling me I'm selfish, that I need to grow up, that I'm hurting the baby by not being excited. I try to ignore her, but it's hard. Sometimes I wonder what the baby will think of me when he or she is older, if they'll hate me for not being there, for not welcoming them. But I can't force myself to feel something I don't. I can't pretend to be happy when I'm not. I can't erase my mom's memory just because someone else wants me to. As the months pass, I start to find a new rhythm. I focus on school, on friends, on the things that make me happy. I go to therapy, talk about my grief, try to process everything that's happened. It's not easy, but it helps. My relationship with my dad is still a work in progress. Some days, I feel closer to him than ever. Other days, I feel like we're strangers. But I know he loves me, and I love him. Maybe that's enough, for now. Lisa's baby is due soon. My dad keeps asking if I'll come to the hospital, if I'll meet the baby, if I'll try to be part of their family. I don't know what to say. Part of me wants to be there for my dad, wants to welcome my new sibling. But another part of me is still angry, still hurt, still grieving. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe things will get better. Maybe I'll find a way to forgive Lisa, to accept the baby, to be part of their lives. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll always feel like an outsider, like I'm living in the shadow of the family I lost. But I do know this, I'm not a bad person for feeling what I feel. I'm not a bad person for needing time, for needing space, for needing to grieve. I'm not a bad person for standing up for myself, for refusing to pretend everything is okay when it's not. Maybe someday, I'll be able to look back on all of this and see it as just one chapter in my life, a hard chapter, but not the whole story. Maybe I'll find peace, find forgiveness, find a way to move forward. But for now, I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to remember my mom, to honor her memory, to hold on to the pieces of myself that haven't been broken by loss. And if that makes me the bad guy in someone else's story, so be it. Because I know who I am. I know what I've been through. And I know that, no matter what, I'll keep moving forward, one day at a time, one step at a time, one breath at a time. If you're reading this and you've lost someone you love, or if you've watched your family change in ways you never expected, know that you're not alone. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel angry, or sad, or confused. It's okay to take your time. You don't have to pretend to be okay for anyone else's sake. Your feelings are valid. Your grief is real. And you are stronger than you think. Maybe someday, things will get easier. Maybe someday, you'll find a way to let go of the pain and embrace the future. But until then, it's okay to just be where you are. You're not alone. And you're not a bad person for needing time to heal.